can't seem to recall my true gift.
And welcome to the social-engineer.org podcast number 53.
Number 57.
53, Dave.
57.
Beautiful prime number.
That's right. 57.
53.
We're on episode number 57.
Well, okay. So we're on 57. That's going to be called 53 when you download it. So
I don't care what it's called, but just know that in here it's 57.
Deep down inside, it's
I'm
number
changing it
57.
today. That's right.
So nice to have you, Dave. It's I keep wondering every month why I invite you back, and this is why.
This is why. I mean, I add a ton of value in comments, and I'm highly accurate.
And you're the best pen tester in Kuwait.
That's right. That's right.
So I guess that's also why we invite you.
That's right, because I'm just in Kuwait, though.
Yeah, just in Kuwait. Yeah, that's what I've heard, at least. So how's it going? How are you guys doing this month? We have, who do we have here? Ping, Michelle, and, of course, Dave. How are you folks all doing?
Excellent. Nice and rainy here in Seattle, but no crazy storms like in the Midwest.
Or in the East. It is ridiculously cold here. We had negative 28 the other night.
Oh, crap.
Yes.
That is painful.
It's painful. It's like one of those colds when you walk out, it hurts automatically right away. Just hurts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about there was a prisoner who escaped who jailbreak in, I don't know, it was Kentucky or someplace, and it was so cold he went back to jail. He had them rearrest him.
Oh, that's amazing.
He couldn't stay out. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's been cold out there, I know.
It's unbelievable. It is. I've never. We haven't had this kind of cold in many, many years for this sustained period of time. I think where you are, Dave, it's the same, right? It's just frigid.
Where is Dave? Now, where in the world is Dave? He needs to be like, where in the world is Waldo?
Oh,
Dave is always on the move.
We should have a game, Where is Dave?
Yes.
A monthly game about where Dave is this month. Dave, where are you right now?
I'm in Cleveland. I'm just doing a pen test.
Just doing a pen test. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I roll.
Yeah, that's how you roll. Just breaking and entering.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, fun.
Of course. So what do we got going on, Michelle? Let's see. We have our course in February coming up in talking
Orlando.
about the cold. Yes. So you guys are all cold. You need to come with us to Orlando.
Sunny Orlando.
Will it actually be sunny?
It's 80 degrees today in Orlando.
Wow.
80 degrees. So you want to get out of this ridiculous cold and come to our course in Orlando in a month. You need to be down there.
So you still have openings in it?
We still have openings in that, yes. And then we have another course in Dublin, Ireland. And when is that? May, I think?
May. Mm-hmm.
May?
Yep.
Everyone keeps asking about July. We're not sure yet where we're going to be, what's going to happen. We'll let you know when that announcement is made. And then November, we're back on the East Coast in Baltimore. So that's our training schedule for right now. Our public training schedule, at least. Boy, we've been all over the place. It seemed like the end of last year I said we were going to travel less, and that was a giant, fat lie.
Oh, no.
It was a lie. Yeah. I think we're traveling more already in the first quarter than we did last year.
Just look at your frequent flyer numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, the problem is where I live. It's a tiny airport, so I never fly the same airline all the time, and it stinks.
Don't you have frequent flyer numbers in all of them?
I do. Yeah, I do. I'm collecting miles in most of the major airlines like Delta, United, US Air, Virgin. Those are the ones we fly the most. But yeah, we've been all over. We had some great fun over in Portland, Salt Lake City recently. Can I tell the story, Michelle? Can I tell the story?
Yeah, sure. We just
I want to
finished,
hear. Let's
we
hear
just
it.
finished the reporting
I'm not,
anyway.
I'm not interested. I don't
No, you're going to want to hear this, Dave. You're going to.
I don't want to hear it.
So we got hired to do this.
Number 57.
We got hired to do this pen test, and I won't say a company name or anything like that. And we wanted to try a different vector. One of the goals was to test the lobby, the front lobby protocols to see if we can get them to leave their desk to be escorted into a particular area, sensitive area of the building, without having to show any ID or prove that we had an appointment. And then, we weren't actually supposed to drop USB keys or things like that, but that would have been the premise, that if we were in there, we could have left some things behind to further the attack. So we went out and bought Michelle a nurse's outfit.
Nowadays they're just scrubs. They're just scrubs.
Yeah, we bought her scrubs, and we bought a stethoscope.
Plain blue scrubs.
Plain blue scrubs. We bought a stethoscope, and we bought a face mask, and then we went to another store, and we bought a Superman balloon and a box of chocolates. And Michelle was a singing telegram.
The irony, of course, here is that I cannot sing.
Oh, I love Michelle, but she cannot sing.
Told you. I told you.
No,
I told you.
She cannot sing. I can't sing, so it's not like I'm comparing, but she cannot sing. No, there is no ability there. But
this warning was provided well ahead of time.
Oh, she did. She provided the warning, in full living color, and she even sang for me just to prove that she couldn't sing. And we still went through with it, which just shows that Michelle will basically do anything for the success of the company. Not only was she wildly successful, she got the front desk people to leave their desk to actually come and video record this event. So we actually have a video recording of this event.
That's awesome.
But Michelle danced and sang for the head of HR of this company.
Wow.
Dressed up as a nurse and had multiple opportunities to drop malicious devices all over the company.
I figured at that point my humiliation was complete, so I was just going to go full bore.
Yeah, she's...
Just think of it as doing your job to the very best of your ability and completely getting into the role.
That's totally what I did. That is absolutely what I did.
And she did. She got into the role big time. And it worked. The amazing part was, this was something new, because we had succeeded with 2 or 3 different other pretexts completely, and we said, let's try something different, and let's just try something completely out there, and let's see if it works. Just because we were done, and we just said, let's try one more thing. And we did. And that was the results. Amazing. So, yeah, take a tiny little Asian woman, dress her in a nurse's outfit, have her go and sing very, very off-key.
I'm just throwing this out there that it probably would have worked with me as well. I'm just, nurse's outfit, singing, and, nice outfit.
Dave, I will actually put money on that.
All right, I'll do it. Done.
I'll put money on that.
How much you got? I'll do for $5.
I was thinking more like 50. Cause
no, that sounds good too.
But I need video proof. You see, with Michelle, we actually got the front desk lady.
Absolutely. No, we'll definitely do video proof.
To leave the lobby wide open and go and videotape Michelle.
It's done, dude. Consider it done.
And she didn't have to provide any ID or anything. It was great. Yeah, so, anyhow, that was just one story I had to share because it was just an excellent story. That's why we ended our 2013, was with a complete breaking and entering of 4 facilities, dressing Michelle as a nurse.
Jumping on the grenade for the company.
I was about to say, can you put the video up but just block out any kind of identifying marks?
I don't know. I have to find out if I can do that. I was dressed as a pest control guy, and that worked amazingly well also. But I didn't have to do any singing or dancing. I just was doing a proposal for pest control services. So.
Oh, I was about to say you're just there to kill things.
Yeah, I was there to kill spiders.
Earth.
We used pictures of scary spiders saying that they were infiltrating the building, and we just got clear path into like everywhere.
We got a squirt bottle full of Gatorade and called it poison.
I did. The name of our company was Big Blue Pest Control. So I bought blue Gatorade and put it into a squirt bottle and drew a big red X on it and told everyone it was custom poison for killing spiders.
But by the end of the day, we were so thirsty that we were squirting it in our mouths.
We were drinking the Gatorade.
Wow.
Yeah, that was fun. Hours of family fun. Anyhow, before we start the official thing, I do have some news. I just got an email. We got accepted to Black Hat, so.
Oh, congratulations.
Number 57. Congratulations.
Thanks, Dave. So we'll be training at Black Hat. So you're all wondering what the topic is for today, who the guest is. Oh, yeah, that will be the July class, so now we can announce it. Sorry that we.
July in Las Vegas.
July in Las Vegas. We will be there. I'll put the dates and official things up later. Okay, so everyone's wondering who the guest is and what's going on. Well, we thought today we would have a little panel discussion. There seems to be a massive amount of buzz going in both directions regarding this RSA, NSA debacle that seems to be taking over the Twitterverse and all over the web. So we have multiple people here with differing opinions. We thought we'd have a nice discussion about this and kind of, I don't know what we're going to accomplish. We're just going to talk about it, and then you guys can send in your opinions, and we'll create a little dialogue on this topic. So, first of all, Dave, you seem to be the SME, the subject matter expert here on this topic. You're vocal about it. Why don't you kind of lay down your version of what you got going on here? What between RSA, NSA, tell us what the story is.
I mean, I really don't have an opinion on it much. I'm not well versed or researched in it, so I can't really
Number 57.
talk about it.
Oh, sorry.
No, in all seriousness. So, if you look at what happened, apparently the NSA had backdoored a specific encryption portion of a encryption standard that was going to be used by RSA, and it was specifically under what they call their BSafe product line. And it looked like it happened around the 2005-2006 timeframe. And some of the Snowden docs that were leaked basically showed that RSA was paid about $10 million to backdoor their code and use the faulty encryption standard in their product lines. And there's been some research that's been done to mathematically prove that this actually occurred. So it's basically confirmed where the NSA had backdoored a specific encryption standard in order to gain access to that encryption, and it was defaulted into the BSafe product line of NSA. And the scary part, I guess, about all of this is that it was the standard in NIST, which everybody and their mom basically touted as being the best standard to kind of focus on. As being used by RSA, it was also being used by a number of other ones. It really starts to kind of show the broad spectrum of what was actually happening, and RSA seems to be kind of at the crux of it, being one of the leaders in the crypto field. And so the debate right now is that do we tolerate this in the industry? Kind of in the security industry, we have an oath to protect and to make things better. And, it seemed that RSA kind of caved into money to put the standard into play and backdoor their own encryption so that the NSA could have access to it. And I think it really, if you start looking at it, it really starts coming down into ethics. It comes down into what you believe. And a lot of people are pretty upset. If you look at the speakers, Jeffrey Carr, which him and I have had some disagreements in the past, but he pulled his talk out. So did Miko from F-Secure pulled his talk out. A number of individuals are pulling their talks out. There's a lot of debate right now on what the best action is to do to kind of show repercussion to RSA for what occurred. And obviously it's a wide range of completely disallowing any type of RSA product line into corporations. Going after the parent company EMC. To not doing a talk to kind of show a stance on it. I guess it's still kind of up in the air, as a community, what we're going to do. But I think everybody should be really, outraged by this because, obviously, we have a spy agency, the NSA. Obviously, it's one of the best in the world, and they should be good. But it looks like they're targeting their own people. It looks like they're planting things in to make security worse. I think it's a really big problem that we really need to think about and really start to have some action on. And in the security community, I think we should be absolutely outraged that a corporation would cave in to, basically backdoor their own product line so that the government can have access to it. I think that's pretty unethical, and I think that there's going to be a lot of debate on that as we go along.
Now, explain this to me, because when I read, it depends on what story you read, right? So you read one story, and it seems to lean heavily towards the way you're talking. Another story seems to lean heavily the other way. But one thing I seem to notice in many of the stories is that for the backdoor that allegedly is there to work, they have to be able to crack the elliptic curve cryptography.
So there's a good blog post. It's blog.0xbadcode.be. And they did, the gentleman there that runs the website did, the analysis on the cryptography itself and basically came out with a full proof of concept of basically what was happening. And, he goes through the whole elliptical curve portion of it. And, what he's able to basically determine is that, through mathematical computations, you're basically able to circumvent a lot of that. And as long as you have, what the values are of, and I'm not a big crypto guy, so you have to excuse me, but basically the two values, if you know what those are, you can basically decrypt it, and the NSA has those, so they can do a decryption on it. So basically he was able to prove through mathematics that you are able to do decryption of those, and that it is there, and that there is something that we need to look at from that. So it's a really great blog post, and we can put it in the show notes, and I'll send it to you right now. But it basically outlines all the steps you need in order to reproduce it.
Okay, so then again, let's go the route just for the initial part of the conversation to say that it's true, that is the case. What's the benefit? And I think there's been 3, maybe 4 people that have backed out of the RSA talk. What's the message? I mean, so you back out of your RSA talk, you don't go. Is it going to change anything? Is it going to stop it? Wouldn't it be better to talk about it openly and publicly to get this information out there, to actually use the talk to kind of say this is what's happening and we disagree with it?
Yeah,
well,
I think.
But your presentation slot at RSA is based upon accepted topic that you submitted a year ago. So to get up on the stage and speak about something other than what they contracted you for is a bit disingenuous, right? You can't have 50 guys who are supposed to speak about cryptography and about policy and about whatever else that they've been contracted to go up there and speak and accepted to speak on, all of a sudden say, hey, by the way, I'm not going to give my talk on mobile security. I'm going to talk about RSA and their bad handling of their encryption keys with NSA. Can't really do that. Okay. That's not the right form. That's very disingenuous.
Okay.
In my opinion. Having been a conference organizer, very few people got away with it at Black Hat, but very few people actually would do something like that because they're there for their technical expertise.
Okay. So that's an acceptable answer for that.
But I'm sorry, I interrupted Dave.
No, that's fine. It's supposed to be an open discussion. We actually have a cryptography expert.
Just out of curiosity, Ping, in your time at Black Hat, did you ever have speakers refuse to speak based on an incident, or did anyone ever do it to make a statement regarding something that was going on in the community at the time?
Not something going on in the community, but definitely Cisco Gate, which happened it was one of the first events I was at, 2003. But I mean, it was really because Cisco didn't handle the announcement or the findings from that particular researcher that at the time was employed by them, and he quit. They said he wasn't allowed to do the presentation as if he was employed by them. So he actually quit right before he got on the stage, and then he did his presentation. So that's a little bit different.
I remember that. I think that might have been my first year at Black Hat, in fact.
As they were ripping the pages out of the...
Yes. That's right. I helped do that.
Yes.
Wow, I'd forgotten all about that.
But I think that's very, very different because, it was one finding by a particular researcher with a particular company. This actually is affecting, products. I can't even tell you how many millions of products have been released, how many millions of things they're supposed to be securing. Right? This is a little bit different. This is a political statement we're making.
Yeah, the scope and the implications are much, much larger, I would imagine.
Yes.
So on that, I think if you look at, what the researchers are saying when they're quitting is that, this is a testament to we're not supporting you, we're going off. But there's other, individuals, like I believe Alex Hutton is using the stage to basically kind of show his distaste.
Mm-hmm. So what is he going to do?
Well, I think he's gonna talk about it. I think that's going to be important in his talk to be able to basically talk about it. And I think that it's really going to be focused on, all the issues that he identified, or all the issues that we're experiencing in the industry, and so I guess there's two polar opposites. One is you quit and you don't do it and protest. The other is getting the word out there. And I can kind of agree with both of them. I guess I'm more on the, hey, I just pull myself out.
Yeah, okay. So, this is an interesting discussion because I guess, when, like I was saying before, when you read the different, there's just so many. You could type this into Google and there's like hundreds of websites discussing this. And you have some people who write, and when they write about it, they can put in that doubt, that if you were in the court of law, would you be able to prove it? And then you read some other blog posts, and it's like all of a sudden, hey, this makes perfect sense and it seems logical. RSA made a statement, though, right? RSA made a statement that said they denied the accusation. I think I read. Let me just see. I have one of these
But
here.
how can they deny the accusation when there's an article that came out that they made an announcement that everyone should stop using that one particular product line? Advisory to RSA developers reads as following. Due to the debate around, okay, I take that back. Due to the debate around, they suggested XYZ. It's even on NIST.
Yeah,
Let me find the NIST.
Yeah, because I was looking at let me see, where was it? There was a press release. Yeah, here it is. Here's the statement where they said, we also categorically state that we have never entered into any contract or engaged in any project with the intention of weakening RSA's products or introducing potential backdoors.
But a lot of things happen unintentionally, I suppose. I guess this is their CYA maneuver.
It's possible, right? And again, that's the thing, is like there's a lot of people picking apart that statement and saying, well, okay, so you took money from the NSA, and you're saying you didn't intentionally weaken the product, but they are saying that they did not introduce potential backdoors. So I guess it's I'm not saying that we should just go on that and believe them, because they said it must be true. I'm not that naive. But I'm wondering here, they're making all these accusations. They come out with a statement saying, well, we did not do that. Then we have some people who've done some math and say, well, look, it looks like this is backdoored. And then this one post I read, I think yesterday, was saying that even if there was something built in, that they would have to be able to crack that elliptical curve cryptography, which seems very, maybe not as realistic as or as easy as it's being made to sound on paper. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I'm not sure. I mean, one other person, and I don't know if I'd go this far because this kind of gets into conspiracy theorism, which is not my style. But one person even said, "How do we even know that these Snowden documents are actually from Snowden and real, and not fabricated documents?" I'm not willing to go that far personally. I think.
Well, and I guess my question is, what is the issue really? I mean, because the algorithms themselves have been known to be sort of questionable. I think it was like 2005, 2006, there was a Microsoft researcher that gave a presentation indicating that there were weaknesses in the algorithm. From the time that it was released, it has been riddled with sort of controversy and issues, and people in the cryptography community, I think, acknowledge that it was at the very least faulty and or weak. So this has been known for some time, and then it's just come out in light of the Snowden releases that there might have been this backroom dealing. So is the issue that RSA did, or is it the issue that RSA is lying now, or is it the issue that the government is creating opportunities to spy? I mean, there are so many sort of issues, and I guess that's the thing, is what is the central point of what people are upset about, or why people are boycotting RSA?
I think it's threefold. I think personally it's threefold. So you have,
I think it's all of them wrapped into one.
Yeah, I mean, people are upset that they've been lied to. People are upset that their traffic, even what they thought was encrypted traffic, may be potentially being monitored. And then people are upset that if all of that is true, so if A and B are true, then that the company that supposedly did it doesn't have the guts to stand up and say, okay, guys, we were in on this back door, but we were only looking for terrorists or something like that.
Well, that's the thing. I think what we're seeing now, though, with all, so here's where I think the outrage comes in. There's been rumblings, obviously, around PRISM. There's been rumblings around issues with Microsoft and others sharing information with them. Obviously, those have been strongly denied. But this is the first time I think we've actually had legitimate proof that a company and an organization has weakened their security stance in order to provide information to the government. And what hurts even worse is that this is a security company. So, if you look at that, I think there's a lot of room here for outrage because, it's not just, hey, the NSA is spying on bad guys. We're seeing now that the NSA is spying on everybody. It's its own citizens. It's everybody. It's not just, what you see, in foreign nations. It's everybody. So I think that, this is the first time in history, at least that I can remember, when we've actually seen this type of disclosure where we can actually prove it mathematically.
So let's step away from the is it true or not discussion for a second, and let's just say, how do you think this is going to affect the public and their view of security companies as a whole? Because
I think
we're in the security industry, so how is that going to affect our business, our industry?
Don't you think, though, part of it is going to be the judgment that people make about RSA's culpability? I mean, you have seen everything along the spectrum of RSA was in on it. They knew exactly what was going on. They agreed to insert a backdoor and, end of story there, all the way to RSA felt like they were working with NSA, but they had no awareness of the implications of this particular algorithm. So there's a huge range of sort of interpretation, and clearly people's emotional tenor is going to depend on where they feel RSA falls on that line of how much they actually knew, and therefore how responsible they are. And then that affects how we respond as a community, no?
Well, yes, I think that's part of it. But if you look at, let's just say the last 8 or 9, a year, whatever time period we're talking, you've had AT&T admit to collecting all call data, Verizon admit to handing over data. Now you have this RSA thing. You have other big companies that have either handed over data to the government or admitted in collusion with certain aspects of handing over data to the government. So what's the public's view? How do you think the public will handle this? I mean, all of a sudden, these big companies where there was this idea that the things I say and do have some privacy behind them now don't. So do you think that it will reduce the trust factor in products and services within the cyber industry? Do you think that's the case?
Well, I have a question then. Let's take an event like Black Hat or RSA. I know that some events will typically post all of the persons who attended because they utilize that as a hook for the vendors and other delegates who attend to come back again, so that they quote unquote see the value of attending the conference, and that way they can contact these other people who are at the event. Now, Black Hat doesn't post it, and Black Hat, as far as when I was there, we did not resell that information. I mean, you had to click the yes, I agree to get, marketing mailings from other events owned by UBM, right? But you can always unclick out of that. You're opting out. So what happens if we say that RSA is giving out their entire registration database to the government so they can see who's attending security events? Are they breaking people's trust? But those people are wandering around the show floor too, right? Technically nameless if you hide your badge and don't get scanned by a sponsor.
I think it's what do they need that information for, and why do they need to target individuals for that, especially in the United States?
I'm like really honestly pondering what Ping is saying, because for me personally, I don't care. In your scenario, Ping, I don't care if the government knows that I attended Black Hat or DEF CON. It doesn't bother me because. But
do they care that you called a hospital that specializes in cancer treatments and now they know that you have cancer? Do you care that you visited a specific pornographic website, or you called a sex hotline? Do you care if they can monitor pretty much every aspect of your life that you do on your phone?
I don't personally, just because I'm not doing anything that I'm ashamed of personally. Now, does that mean I want it to be public? No. No, I wouldn't want my personal life to be public.
Well, what's the difference between public and thousands of people at the NSA having access to it?
Well, I guess the concept being that what NSA, I'm trying to picture this, and I'm probably oversimplifying this, but the NSA taking in, let's just say Black Hat was the target, so taking in every phone call that occurs from every cell phone and landline at Black Hat. The amount of data is truly amazing. It's truly amazing. So what are they looking for? Are they looking for one key word?
Yep.
Are they looking for a key word? Somebody saying the word terrorism, bomb, something to that effect. So if they're looking for one key word, when it comes to logging my calls, and I don't happen to use that, then no, I don't care. I don't think that there's some NSA agent sitting there listening to my personal call between me and my wife, or my therapist, or my best friend, or whatever, and laughing about the dumb things that I'm saying. I think that they're filtering it for key words. Otherwise, you would need a massive amount of manpower to listen to every conversation, read every email, read every text message that's going on between just the people at Black Hat. And now we're talking about expand that to the whole country. And that's why personally I don't care about me. Now, it doesn't mean I don't care about the lack of privacy and secrecy. For me personally, it doesn't bother me as much for Chris Hadnagy, because I'm not doing anything I have to be afraid of.
So does it bother you because you don't feel like you would be targeted, or does it just not bother you, period? Because I think there's a distinction there too.
Yeah. So that's a good question. It's a good distinction. So it doesn't bother me for me, because I don't feel that I'll be targeted. But it bothers me in the sense that I guess there was an expectation, right? There was an expectation in... let's say in this country, you live in this country, and you say there's an expectation that I have some freedoms and some rights by being a citizen of this country, that says I have some privacy, I have some secrecy that is owed to me. So it upsets me in that sense, maybe that those things don't exist as much as I thought they did. But for me personally, I'm not too upset, because I'm not doing anything that I think the government would care about. I'm not hacking people for fun and profit. I am not trafficking humans or selling children. I'm not doing drugs. Heck, I'm not even visiting pornographic websites, so I don't care if they're reading my traffic. For me. Again, I'm not saying that as a blanket statement that I don't care about secrecy or privacy. It's just a personal thing for me.
Right, and I think if we come back to it, it comes back to we trusted RSA to produce a product that was supposed to help secure through encryption. But that would we be so up in arms if it was an unintentional flaw in their design of that cryptographic algorithm and the deployment of it?
I think so.
And
I think so. I think people would be less up in arms if it was unintentional. Because look what happens. They find bugs every day in software.
Sure.
Microsoft is riddled with bugs in their software nonstop, right? Apple riddled with bugs. But we still buy the products. We still use them. Why? Because when someone makes a mistake, you point your finger, you get mad, you say, "Look how stupid you were. You should have used safe coding practices. You didn't do that." Spank, slap. Target. Right? Look at hundreds of millions of credit cards released because of security flaws, and people don't stop shopping at Target. They're still buying things. People haven't stopped using their credit cards. They're still doing that. So it hasn't. When it's unintentional and it's a mistake, I don't think people react the same way as when it's you can think
done in collusion with another entity to purposefully make an insecure, flawed product.
Yeah, there was some report I was reading, a reporter online who used this analogy. It'd be like being at the beach and you're taking pictures, and you just happen to, as you're snapping pictures of the scenery, you happen to snap the picture of the girl who sat up from sunbathing and her top fell off. There's a big difference in that if you plant a hidden camera in her dressing room and trying to catch her. There's a huge difference in those two things. One was unintentional. You snapped a picture and even know later on you're looking through your pictures like, hey, look at that picture I got. Or if you're intentionally planting hidden cameras to catch her undressed. There's a huge difference in those two scenarios.
So that was the point of my original question in terms of, the culpability. It ranges everywhere from RSA really didn't know what they were doing with it to RSA was an active participant in weakening their product. And until we really know, I think it's really hard to make a stand based on how we're going to react.
And I think that's where I'd love Dave's comment on that when he comes back, because that, I think, is the crux of my point with the whole thing, is until we know for sure that it was done on purpose. So, mathematicians, cryptologists have said, yep, it's there. We can see the back door. It's provable. By math, it's provable. Okay, so it's there. So was it planted by RSA on purpose?
This is the chicken and egg problem, though.
Yeah.
We will probably never really know. I don't even know how many of those people are still at RSA, or if they could ever speak about the development of it or remember it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? I mean, it was over almost a decade ago.
Yeah, they may be in Area 51 right now, those people.
Right, or passed away or whatever.
Stored in
or
the box.
dispersed to the 50 million, directions, moved companies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, the whole entire development team. And who knows what happened on the executive level, right? In terms of if there was any backdoor dealings.
So what do you think, Ping? I mean, we heard Dave's comment. What do you think? I mean, do you think it's worthy enough of boycotting and not going to RSA?
It's going to be very personal, because what you're saying is, okay, what's the statement if you boycott the event? Okay, obviously the product, the utilization of the product is saying one thing, but that's not very visible, right? Because we're not really sure. I mean, I guess people would personally know, or if their company was using the product. But on a visual public level, by boycotting RSA, what are they saying? Are they saying we don't support the company, or we just don't support the event? Because on the surface, if you're just walking by and you don't know anything about it, you're like, oh, so there's a big boycott. Don't speak at RSA, don't use our product. Oh, is this like how they say about certain antivirus products and how horrible they are? And I shouldn't use them and I shouldn't do it. But I personally think that by not speaking, you have to very clearly think about it, because RSA isn't going to say, oh, John Doe isn't going to speak because he's boycotting the whole, cryptographic algorithm backdoor thing. It's just going to open another slot for another speaker. Right? Because people go there to do business.
See, the thing is, I don't think that anyone is fooling themselves that's canceling. Right. I don't think anyone's saying to themselves... It's not going to affect the event. Right. It's not going to affect the event. RSA is not going to go belly up. They're not going to lose money because of it. I don't think anyone is fooling themselves at that. I really don't. I think that probably what people are at least saying is that they're making a personal statement. Hey, Dave, we actually had a decent discussion, and without you, which was amazing.
That never happens, by the way.
Never happens. Never happens. But I was curious to get your opinion on a point that I think was it Michelle that you made.
Oh, about RSA's how responsible they are.
Yeah, so
their culpability.
So until we know for sure that RSA did it on purpose, I mean, right? So we're saying that mathematicians and cryptologists have proved that there is a backdoor.
Right.
But yet no one's proved that it was done on purpose with RSA's collusion.
Well, but the documents released show that they were basically given a $10 million contract to put it into BSafe as a default standard.
But is that what they say? When I read it, the contracts don't state what it's for. I mean, they say, yeah, we took money from NSA because we had a contract with them, but it doesn't state that it was for putting this algorithm in there. That's what RSA paid for.
Well, there's another one, I believe it was from Reuters that basically said it was an exclusive contract to make it default. Here, let me see if I can find it real quick. Because if you look at the generation of the BSafe product line, apparently it was something like $27.2 million that they had generated in revenue, and so the $10 million was a really big chunk into the integration into the BSafe software. So, it's I'm looking at it here. Here's the link right here.
And then the other thing we were talking about is, and I think we probably all agree on this, is that when people cancel, they're not canceling thinking that they're actually going to hurt RSA or the conference or anything. They're making a personal statement. Or do you?
That's right.
Do you, okay.
Yeah, it's more of a personal statement. It's not to hurt the RSA Conference, and in all actuality, the RSA Conference is a completely different subsidiary than EMC and RSA. But at the same time, it was started by the founders for the crypto side, so it's definitely related and married together. And that's been one of the debates too. Is they are different companies in a sense, but I still see them as basically being one because it's part of the same thing. But I think. And if you look at what the researchers are trying to get out of it, it's to prove a point. It's like, listen, we're not happy with this type of behavior. We're supposed to be doing, things to help and better security, not make it worse. And this, fundamentally goes against our beliefs. And I think they're very right to be upset. And I think, if RSA did come back with a comment, and basically said, well, hey, we haven't done anything bad. Basically, they didn't deny the allegations. If they want to settle the nerves of the people in the industry, then they come out with the whole story of what happened. Hey, we had a contract, we were paid this, but we had no idea it was backdoored, and we had no idea of any of this. And here's, the email chains or things like that we can release, that show that. And I think that would be pretty noble of them. I think what you'll find, though, is that's not going to happen. I think what you're going to find is that they're just going to deny, and everything's going to be just as usual as before. And, as fast as we move in the news, I think, this will pretty much die off in the next, 3 to 6 months, and people won't even think about it again, and RSA will be just fine. And I think that's a shame.
So, but how do you think? So, I agree with that last statement. People are probably going to forget and move on when the next biggest hack or something else gets released, or another Snowden file hits the news. But do you think that this is going to have any further effect on the public? On people now looking at security companies and saying, "Boy, I can't trust anything." Because AT&T did it, Verizon did it, RSA did it, this antivirus did it. Boy, this VPN that I had handed over stuff to the FBI. And it seems like everywhere I go, there's major companies that are agreeing with the government handing over or allowing traffic to be monitored or whatever. Do you think it's going to affect the public's view of trust in the industry?
Well, I think it will, and I think it. Let me rephrase that. I don't think it will. Personally, because of how we are in the news and how things move on quickly. I think that it should, and I think that this should be a really big realization for us in what we're doing to try to protect data. I think that if you look at historically, security has really been kind of the redheaded stepchild of IT and the entire industry because we really haven't been able to get our game together. And it just when we are starting to come together as an industry, just when there's so many good movements like the Calvary movement and all these different things that we're doing trying to change the industry for the better, with this hits us and now we're backdooring our own product lines, making ourselves less secure. I think that's a pretty big deal. I think it should be scrutinized, and I think that we need to really focus on how do we actually protect versus everything else that's happening. And I don't think people are really going to notice that, but I think people in the security industry are really starting to notice that, and I think it's a big problem.
So, then, do you think it will affect how we sell penetration testing or training services or things that now we have to, like, people come to us, right? And your company, my company, we test them, and then they say, okay, how do I keep data secure and safe? Does that affect how we give these answers? Does that affect how we help our clients? Because if there really is no way to keep everything 100% secure or safe, then what are the way that we help our clients with this kind of stuff?
Well, I don't think in the short term it's going to. I don't think businesses really look at it like that. I mean, I don't think it has major ramifications down the road. I think what this should be is a call or an awakening for the security industry to really scrutinize our people and scrutinize the companies that do this type of work. And I haven't been a big fan of RSA for a very long time, and it's not because of the company themselves, the people that work in it, some great people that work there. But kind of the vision and productization of the security industry is really my crux and my pain point. And I intentionally haven't submitted to RSA in a number of years because when you walk into there, I literally feel ill to my stomach on the amount of vaporware that's being presented as APT prevention and DLP prevention and stuff like that, where it just doesn't work. And so, taking that aside and taking my beliefs around the RSA conference aside, this is a big issue. I mean, this is something that I don't think a lot of people in the security industry really even realize how substantial this is. That a security company that was there to protect weaken themselves to a government so that they can basically, make it so that we can do complete government surveillance and encryption. I mean, that's huge, and I think it needs to be our forerunner of topics for this year in 2014.
So forget that part for a second, because you brought up another topic. Like you're going to a conference like that and you see all these people buying, in essence, fake security solutions, things that really aren't going to keep them secure, but they believe they will. And I agree, that's an upsetting part of this industry. People that buy a box or a plugin or a piece of software and think now that they're hacker-proof. And they put a little sticker on their website, hacker-proof. Obviously, that's upsetting to anyone who's a real security professional. But isn't it better? Well, let me not word it that way. Don't you think it may be better to go and be the guy who stands up and says, "Hey, this stuff is not going to secure you, but here are some solutions that can help. Here are some ideas that can make you more secure than this, $50,000 piece of software or something else that is being sold to you that's really not going to work," as opposed to just throwing your hands up and saying, "Look at all these losers here that aren't going to be able to accomplish X, Y, Z because they believe in this."
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, what works in an organization is what we need to focus on and making things better. I think right now, the industry itself is moving towards a downward spiral where they're focusing too much on the product lines, and it's up to us to really gear them towards building more security programs than anything else. And I think, moving back to this topic here, I mean, a lot of us have a lot of ethic, beliefs that we run by. And I think that a lot of us, in the event I was offered $10 million, I would say absolutely not. And I can honestly say that. I mean, there's no backdoor in SET. There's no backdoor in any of the code I release, and never will be. And that's something that I think we need to kind of adhere to as kind of a doctor's ethic on always treating the patient the right way. It's the same thing we need to do in security. It may seem kind of cheesy, but it's the same thing that I think we need to abide by, because it's what we do. It's our job to protect, not make it worse.
Actually, I don't think that's cheesy. We Michelle and I kind of have this. Our catchphrase is "Leave them feeling better for having met you," and we're kind of in that same thought pattern that you can do our job, even though our particular job is to trick people into clicking emails, trick people into answering questions on the phone, trick people into letting us through their front door, and they're gonna feel bad after they fall for all these scams that we're pulling on them. But we always try to use things that will not make people feel bad about themselves, right? That they're not going to feel worthless, or they're not going to feel like they just totally failed. They're not, that maybe at the end they can laugh a little and learn. And we feel strongly, the same way you just said, is that it's our job in this industry, even though we can perform the same exact attacks as the real bad guys, to not leave people feeling hopeless and violated, but to leave them feeling open to being educated. And that's the only way we're going to be able to fix, or potentially even try to fix, some of the problems that we see occurring today.
Right. Exactly right. And I couldn't agree more, Chris.
Is that something we disagreed on? Something.
That's weird. That's okay. So I disagree with you, Chris, completely on that. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't even know what to do with that statement now. I mean, I think we should just end. It's like, wow, we agree.
That's I'm pretty much done. I have nothing to say.
Yeah. I don't know.
Number 57.
Number 53. So
no, but I think all in all, I mean, if you look at what DerbyCon is and what a lot of the B-sides movements are, and the community is a lot more than just what we see in the industry. And this is actually an interesting discussion, because I got an email recently from a few individuals that have been kind of debating, and it originally started with Tony Vargas and Wim Remies and Josh Corman and Jack Daniels and Jennifer Milla and myself were on this, and the question was, and James Ireland too, Mercurial, but the question was, do you and sorry, there's a few others too on there that were there, so Javad Malik and a few others, but anyways, the whole purpose of it was defining, what do we consider the security industry? Who are the people that drive the security industry, and is it applicable for them to be driving the security industry? And I think, if you look at, the groups that we hit, and I wouldn't necessarily say that we're driving the industry, but we're definitely influential to the point to where, our statements do matter and what we're trying to do matters. So I think right now it's a battle between, the products and the battle versus people that actually want to change the industry. I'm not saying products are all bad. I mean, a lot of the technology out there is super. But the selling pitch, the things that they're doing to the vaporware side, I think a lot of that, comes down to ethics. And I think a lot of us are trying to change that.
Yeah, I agree with that, because too many times in our business, we see people being sold a product that will fix their phishing issues. And I sit back and I'm wondering, how did you fall for that? I mean, there is no product. Sure, this phishing software can help test you and audit your people, but then you need good quality education to help fix the problem. A piece of software that you point at your employees and click send isn't going to fix the issue. So I agree with that strongly, because I think that we are kind of, as an industry, needing to help the companies that we work with see that there are better ways to fix this problem than just throwing money at it constantly and failing. I mean, I actually was at a company and they asked, so what do we do? I mean, how do we not become the next target? Because they were really waiting just for years saying, well, we never had an attack, so it's okay, we don't need to have a pen test. And then they had their first incident, and it's like, okay, now we need to start thinking about it. And I said, well, that's the problem. Everyone waits, right? They wait until they get the heart attack before they start doing something with their health. And it's not the best way of handling it, obviously. And I agree with what you're saying. I think we kind of need to step it up a little, enhance the way that we're talking about it, talk more about it.
Chris, are we agreeing again?
I think we're agreeing again. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, something's not right here. I'm feeling kind of sick.
I think we're going to start losing listeners. I don't know what to do.
It's all good. It's all good.
It is. So Dave, are you going to be at Black Hat?
I think I just got a notice that I got accepted as well. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I guess they were going out this morning, so this was good timing for us. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Well, congratulations.
I'm excited then. Well, you and I will be presenting at Black Hat this year.
So what are you training? What's your class? Is it the 2-day set class, or is it the pen testing class?
The pen testing class. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. The bypassing, bypassing security techniques, secret pen testing techniques. So basically going into a lot of the tricks in the trade that we use, and we got a lot of great ones. Like the course has just been completely redone and updated for this year. So
okay, wait, Dave. It's not going to be secret pen testing techniques once you promulgate this in the training class.
I understand. Well, what's funny is I had a couple folks that were from a few different virus companies last year, and lo and behold, I had to rewrite a lot of my stuff after it. So, but that's fine. And most of the people there, I'm going for methodologies. I'm going for how do you actually find and attack systems and learn from that, and that's really where that course is designed for. And it's going to be secret. It's going to be secret.
Well, it's going to be secret for anyone not in the class.
That's right. Yes. Right.
I'm excited for you, Dave. That's awesome. Is that a 2-day or 4-day?
It's 2-2-dayers.
Awesome.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations.
So hopefully we get set next to yours again, so I can start messing with you again like last year.
It was a lot of fun, man.
It was. You guys were screaming and howling.
Oh yeah, we always have an exciting class. Always. I mean, it's just a lot of fun in our class, and because we're doing a lot of human interaction stuff, so it's not so quiet. And I'm glad we were next to you, because sometimes I think the year before we were next to a class that kept coming over and asking us to be quiet.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It was a little crazy. So
because it's not like it's public venue or anything.
Right. They're like, we were bothering the students who were trying to read and study, and we're like, okay, we're sorry. So I couldn't keep the students down. I mean, we had 28 people in a classroom. It was just crazy. But this year we're right next to Dave, so he was a lot cooler. So hey, Black Cat, if you're hearing this, put us right next to Dave Kennedy's class.
Ooh, I don't know. They're going to be at Mandalay. New venue.
Gosh, I forgot about that.
Brand new venue.
I heard. Oh man, I'm gonna miss Caesars.
We all will miss Caesars.
I really
Caesars was amazing. I have to say, it's my favorite hotel.
It is. Yeah. Wow. I'm really actually gonna miss Caesars. It was like a way to. I never been to Mandalay Bay, but I heard it's just monstrously huge.
It's a mile from their sleeping rooms to the convention floor.
What?
I have walked that many, many, many times.
A mile? Literally a mile. You're not just exaggerating.
I am not exaggerating. You can save a little bit of time by coming through the garage, which means going into the heat.
A mile.
I think we should get corporate segues.
I'm just gonna,
They won't-
get a cot. I'm just gonna sleep in the room.
Corporate segues.
The hotel won't allow you to have segways because of, first of all, you have to wear a helmet then when you're in there, but they're afraid that you're going to tear up the flooring and like run into people.
That's
What about
epic, Michelle.
skateboards? Skateboards, will that work?
I don't know. I mean,
So-
well,
Michelle, you're going to have to carry me down every morning. That's just all there is to it.
great. We're going to roll you.
That
That's what's
sounds
going to
awesome.
happen.
I can't wait for that.
You just better strengthen your back, okay? Just we'll get one of those giant baby carriers, kind of thing.
Oh, goodness.
Yes, I'll just carry you on my flat, hairy back. Yeah, we'll do it that way.
Oh, that's going to be ridiculous.
That was a visual.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. Moving along now.
Oh, man. Well, okay, so Dave, you and I, man, we should compete again.
Dude, I would love to. Let's do it.
Yeah, because last time all my students got signed books, which they really loved.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, all my students got signed books. That was pretty epic.
Yeah, that was epic.
That was. They really enjoyed that. Actually, not all of them got it because I think you ran out and you only had 20, and we had 28 students. So
that's right.
Got screwed, but that's. I guess that's.
Didn't
okay.
you make it up?
That's what they get.
Up for it?
He never made us whole. No.
Oh well, I can do that. That's fine. I thought I got everybody there except for like one or something.
No, I don't think Jordan got one, and but it's okay. It's okay. Jordan got
that's Jordan. It's okay.
Jordan got it for free, so that's okay. So, okay, excellent. So we got some good stuff coming on in the summer. We're going to both be at Black Hat. That's nice. We already mentioned our other classes. We did have something else big going on since we're kind of ending the discussion that I wanted to talk about this month. Well, maybe I should be a little less adventurous. In the next month or so, we are going to be re-releasing social-engineer.org, and it is going for a complete overhaul. I mean, complete. It is going to look completely different. It is going to be a brand new website, and we are going to have, we're rewriting the framework, which will not be done by the time the site launches, but we will be adding to it as it's being launched. And we're going to have some new features of the site that I will talk about and then as it's getting released. But the big one, this has been kind of something that I've been pondering for the last 2 or 3 years from people who are always emailing and asking for things like this. We are creating a tag-based search function for the website. So, for example, you come into the site, there'll be a search box, and you can type in elicitation, and it will pull up every newsletter, podcast, blog post, and framework article that has to do with elicitation, that's tagged about elicitation.
Chris, I'm so glad you're updating your website, and I'm so glad you're finally coming to almost the 21st century.
I know. It took me a while. Hey, listen, this is a lot of work. And this is not cheap. Ask Michelle. We went out and we found the best developer and design team. We interviewed like multiple people, and we finally settled on one. And spending way more than I really wanted to for a free resource, but it has to be done because the site. We get tens and tens of thousands of hits a month, and I didn't realize how many people were utilizing the information on our site. And I've gotten, in the last 6 months, this is no joke, probably between 6 to 8 emails a month from professors or college teachers that are using our site as part of their course and asking for, hey, I'm looking for this resource. Do you have anything about this topic on your website?
You're just at that size now. There's just enough information in your that mass. But you're just at a big enough mass where there's enough interest where there's a demand for it. And I think, honestly, you have to justify the cost.
Yeah, and we did, because when I looked back through the year and I looked at the emails and I looked at what people were doing with the site, I started looking at the analytics more closely and seeing how long people are spending on the site. People on average, I don't know what's normal for a website, but on average, we got people spending between 4 and 6 minutes on our website on average. Which I guess from what I heard from different web people, that's really long. So people are going and spending time reading and researching and downloading articles and getting the newsletter and listening to the podcast instead of downloading it right on the site. And it's not very functional. It's difficult to navigate. It's messy and it's very hackerish. So we are updating it to become a training and research resource for people. Because right now, if you go to the web and you type in social engineering, we're on the first page. I mean, our sites come up. So when people are in college or universities and they're searching for something to do with social engineering attacks, our page comes up in the Google rankings really high. And then they're going to the site and spending time trying to find things for their courses, and it's very difficult. We have an amazing amount of information on that website, so we just need to catalog it better. So Michelle and I have been working tirelessly, literally tirelessly on this. So
is it tirelessly or just like a couple hours?
Is that nonstop as well?
I don't know.
Nonstop.
I'm pretty tired.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say tirelessly.
Well, how long did it take you just to get the framework out of its crappy...
No. How long did it take you just to convince him to do it?
You know, he's been very forward thinking on this. I have to say, he realized it was time. It was time to call the baby ugly.
I did. Michelle's been a huge help. She actually, there was no way to export the framework from the plugin that we're using to a usable format. So Michelle manually took each piece and put it into a framework outside of our website so we can work on it. It's been a manual process so far for us, but we've been doing it, and we hope that when it's released, you guys just love it as much as we do. I got some of the design files back yesterday, and it's beautiful, isn't it, Michelle?
It really is. I think it's going to be just a nice upgrade for the users. It really.
So what's the ETA on that?
Well, we were supposed to actually launch it by this podcast, believe it or not, but our designer had a close family member die, and we just told her to take time off. We didn't want her to work during that time, so she had a couple weeks, and now she's back, and I'm going to say by the end of January, it really should be done. And then once it's released, the look and feel will be there, the search function will be there, but the framework will be getting updated probably for 6 months after that, because as we were reading through it, there was some really old stuff. I mean, Dave, I think I have like the first version of set instructions there.
You do.
Right? I mean, it's
want
like set
Want me to update it for you?
I think we need to, man. I think I need.
No problem.
I need to, because I can honestly tell you from my analytics, one of the biggest things people still search for is set.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're still in the top search results for that too.
Is that amazing?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so that's the big news for us. We're really excited about that, and I know last month I hinted at it, but now it's there, it's coming, it's beautiful, and I'm very excited about that update. I just wonder if there's anything else, Michelle, that we should talk about before we close it.
No, I think those are the big things. At least everything that we've released to this point.
So we didn't fix the problem, but we definitely had a good discussion about at least our opinions on it. I'm not sure if there really is a fix for this problem, right, Dave? I think we agree on that too.
No fix.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that there should be some outrage and some discussion about it in the community and what we need to do and like a call to action. But I don't really see that happening, unfortunately. But I hope it does.
And I'm just not sure what would occur, even if it were. I'm not sure what would happen.
Don't buy EMC products.
Okay, that's one avenue people can take. I mean,
until we get some answers.
Unfortunately, it never seems to work when people say boycott stuff. I remember when gasoline prices started going through the roof in this country, everyone said if you just on this day the whole country doesn't drive, we'll hurt the gas industry enough that it will change its prices. Yeah, nobody stopped.
You can't. I mean, it's like that's extreme as well, because everyone needs to get to work.
Yeah. All right. And I think that what you said before, we're going to see the RSA Conference is not going to be too hurt. It's going to continue. People are going to go. It's not going to hurt the attendance at all. So, well, I guess until next month. What else we got?
Did you do number 57?
Yeah, when we actually do 57 in 5 months from now, or 4 months from now, then you'll be accurate. But until then, another big news. I do have other big news. Sorry, my book comes out. My second book comes out next month, February. It's released February 2000.
Dude, that's huge. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do we have a title?
We do.
Who's the publisher?
We do. I'm so excited about it. It's Unmasking the Social Engineer, the Human Side of Security. I partnered with Paul Ekman and Paul Kelly, and I wrote a book all about nonverbal communication. And I'm talking like from the feet to the head and even inside the brain, hijacking the amygdala to elicitation using nonverbals, and backed it all up with unbelievable amounts of scientific research, and then passed it all through one of the greatest leading minds in this day and age about nonverbals, which is Dr. Ekman, and he slapped it around and told me what needed to be changed and worked on and fixed, and it took 11 months. Finally got done, and it is now in printing and will be released February. So you can find it on Amazon. I'll put a link to in the show notes, but it's there already. For anyone who wants to pre-order, just see the cover. But I am super proud of this book because it was a massive labor. The first one was big too. I mean, I'm not trying to discredit it, but this one I really went all out with research. I probably have like 30 books here that I bought, that different areas of research, college books and different books, just to make sure what I was saying was accurate and scientifically sound. So I'm very proud of this one. So February, that comes out. Everything's happening in February. February, we got our site launch. We got the book coming out. We're doing a course in Orlando in February. Michelle's going to get some sleep in February.
That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. That's a
That'll
lie.
never
Let's just say
happen.
February is your kickoff.
February is going to be a big month for us. Yeah, so okay, folks. I guess that's about it. I won't belabor it anymore. You know, you can follow us on social-engineer.org and social-engineer.com, and I just bought socialengineer.com without the dash. That will now forward to the .com site too. On Twitter, our .org is Human Hacker, and our .com is SOC Engineer Inc. If you're on the IRC, you can jump into our channel at irc.freenode.net, channel social-engineer. Okay, until next month, folks, we'll talk to you then. See you.
My heart is gone. I gone cold. My heart is gone. Path gives way to a cold winter field. The ground below, hard as steel. Beyond the hill, a distant song, but that hill keeps going on and on. My heart is gone. I've gone cold. My heart is gone. I've gone cold. Swan boats and daisy chains. Can't seem to recall any given name. I see the footprints, how they come, how they go. Was that only a moment or many years ago? My heart is gone.